Hey guys, it's Gary Vaynerchuk. Welcome to December's wine club of the greatest wine club in the world, the Gary V Wine Club. Happy holidays. Some of you may be sitting and watching this during your Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever holiday you're celebrating at this point, or all of the above, if that's how you roll. And I just want to wish you a great holiday, and more importantly, a happy new year and a healthy one most of all. 3 hardcore red wines for the month of December. I feel like, it's getting colder in a lot of parts of the country. The meals are getting more complex and complicated, and the quality of the oomph, for example, before shipping, if you got the best prices on these 3 wines from 3 different stores across the country at their best price, this is a $96 best price in the country at 3 different places. Factor in that you'd have to pay about $7 or so a bottle shipping in the 3 different places. You're talking about $110, $115 value for the month this month, and so for $55 and free shipping, we continue to deliver. And we've gone, white and rosé, and we've been going that way, and I want to come out hard. I debated very heavily champagne and sparkling, given that New Year's is in this month, but ultimately, I was looking for the best deals, tasted a bunch of stuff. There was one champagne I was excited about, couldn't get it imported to the US quick enough, and so really excited about this hardcore red attack for the month of December. For all you newbies, this is where you're gonna put some hair on the chest, some muscles on there. This is like gritty wine, big wines, and for some of you that are more hardcore about wine, this is probably gonna make you smile real hard, as we come with 3 very prestigious, intense, high quality red wines. Let's get right into it. Mark Harold 2012 Collide Red, 30% Carignan, 27% Petit Syrah, 24% Tempranillo, 19% Grenache, 14.8% alcohol, a big boy. Mark Harold starting his career at Joseph Phelps. 90 points, Robert Parker. Wine comes in at about $30. Best price 28 or something like that, but consistently a $35, $40 wine at retail in a lot of places, a wine that you're gonna see at about $100 in a lot of restaurants. And Tyler, I think you were right, I will take 2 other glasses since I'm going to a big client meeting in a second. I don't need to pound this entire glass. So nonetheless, super intrigued by this red blend. I grew up in the Meritage era of California wines. When I think back to things like Ridge and Springs and different things of that nature, that Carignan, the Tempranillo, that Petit Syrah, the really, really fun varietals. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Big red intensity on the fruit, a little black, kind of, I was gonna say black pepper, but I'm take a step back, almost like a beef jerky component. Huge richness. This is just, the viscosity on the nose. You can just smell this is gonna be a thick boy. Big red fruit, raspberries, cherries, a little vanilla on there as well. The oak's coming through on this wine. Let's give it a whirl. You're feeling all parts of the 14.8 alcohol here. And what I mean by that is, we just popped and poured here. This wine needs 3 to 4 hours of decanting. So, I don't know how you popped and poured, but maybe you want to pause your phone right now, or if I'm on the big screen, I've seen a lot of your Instagram posts. Keep putting the hashtag, everybody. I'm really enjoying interacting with your content on Instagram. The hashtag's on the sheet that came with this wine. This wine can really be put away for a long time. This is a big boy. Huge, huge viscosity came through on the palate. Huge richness, very jammy, a lot of strawberry, a lot of raspberry, big fruit. And the alcohol is kicking. Like, this is a big wine. Now, I don't think it's over alcoholic for a lot of hardcore wine drinkers. I just think this needs air. 4 or 5, Charlie, what do you think? 4 or 5 hours of breathing, in my opinion, will really help this wine. Or, to be very frank, 4 or 5 years in your cellar. This is a steak wine. This is maybe a cigar wine if you want it, like after, where where you had a couple too many glasses of eggnog already, and you're just like, screw it, it's the holidays, and like you're just gonna pop this monster and have it with a cigar. But it's a big wine.
Very big.
Very, very, very big. I actually think I'm tasting these wines now out of order. I might have probably needed to taste this last. It's a monster. I mean, do you guys remember Refrigerator Perry? The William the Refrigerator Perry? You're very young, Tyler.
It's the second time.
You don't know who Refrigerator Perry is?
Second time he's come up today. We were talking about him earlier.
You do not know who William the Refrigerator Perry is?
Nope.
Okay. For all the other youngsters, William the Refrigerator Perry was a cult-like figure on the '85 Chicago Bears. Defensive guy, was so viral that they made a G.I. Joe figure about him in cartoons. He was a big, big deal. Do you now know who he is?
The refrigerator
fridge.
aspect, yeah.
Well, I asked you, William.
No, I don't know him.
Oh, I still don't know.
But I know there's a guy at a refrigerator story thing.
No, his nickname was the refrigerator. He was a monster.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, this wine's a monster. It reminds me of William, the refrigerator. Perry, I'm getting old, I guess. Let's move on. Fairey Otto. This is an Italian Sicilian wine that I'm extremely excited about. A blend of Nero d'Avola and Syrah, 2011. It was number 87 in the Wine Spectator Top 100 that year. 91 points Spectator, 90 points Wine Advocate. Really, Sicily is really an intriguing place to produce wine. I think they're grossly undervalued. This wine is a $20 or so wine, which I think is a screaming deal. On the nose, a heavy dose of chalkiness. For a lot of you that grew up with driveways that were just kind of like crushed rock and like loose rocks. Nate, was your driveway paved?
Cement.
Cement, right. So like for me, like when we moved to Hunterdon County from Edison, it was like just like a rocky kind of like driveway, right, mixed with the dirt. That's what I'm getting here. Very, very chalky. Another way to put it actually is just like, this is interesting, Trout. On the nose, over here, Babin, on the nose, old school 1987 at the chalkboard, take two erasers and go like this. Did you ever do that, Tyler? You did that as kids? Okay, at least you kids, good. Babin, you too, good. So every age group understands this. You took the two erasers and you did that, and the chalkiness came, and if you like open your mouth and got that, there's a lot of chalkiness on this nose. Little, almost like red cassis coming through here on the nose as well, and I almost get a hint of like, God, it's like really spicy red fruit. Let's give it a whirl. Should have never tasted this first. A little rusty in my patterns. Medium body, very floral, very clean, very elegant. Very elegant wine. Has some reminiscing characteristics to me of what I love about Beaujolais, that floral elegance, but it's much heavier, not as light. However, Zinfandel-like body, really, really nice fruit. The Syrah didn't overpower the Nero, which I was worried about, so it still has that elegance. I would even argue Pinot Noir-like elegance on the palate. What do you think, Trout?
Yeah, especially after the last wine. Feel the contrast.
Yeah, the contrast is, and by the way, for a lot of you that are trying to learn through the wine club, and every club will be different, these two would be a lot of fun to taste side by side. If you've ever been curious about what a medium body wine tastes like versus a full bodied wine, here's your chance, pop them both, taste them side by side. I would taste them in different order. I would start with the Nero, and I would go to the Collide next. But this could be, I'll give you another angle here if you're watching. I think a lot of you are starting to take on the strategy that you watch first, consume all the content, and decide what you want to do this. If you're a red wine family or into red wine, this would be a great wine to pour when guests come over. I know, for example, in AJ's family, at Allie's family, they kind of host Christmas Eve, and it's just people come through the whole day. This is a great thing to pour for your guests when they first come in, and then if you're gonna sit down and have dinner with the meals, you go with the Collide. But that is without us going to the Veluco Vineyards 2012 Cabernet from Sonoma. Super excited about this wine. It's a $50 wine in most places, coming from Mayacamas Mountains. 90 points, Robert Parker. And I don't know, you didn't say this to me, but I remember off the top of my head, there is a connection here to Opus or something of that nature.
Yep, worked for Opus and Stag's Leap, and then Cliff Ledet.
Right, so the winemaker and owner, right? Mm-hmm. Name? Do you know? Do you have that?
Timothy Milos.
Right, so Tim worked at Opus and Staglin and Cliff Ledet?
Stag's Leap.
Stag's Leap, excuse me. But the Opus connection reminded me quite a bit. 2012 Cabernet, big boy here. This is for a lot of people that are into the Camus kind of Silver Oak, world. I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy this wine. I've had this already, so I'm a little bit more familiar with it than the other two. Because I've had it recently, I've had those quite a little while ago. Big nose, big fruit, big blackberry, tons of creme, which comes from the oak. So there's a lot of oak infusion here, which is that popular style of Camus cake bread, Stag's Leap Fay, that kind of classic style. A little bit of black fruit and jam here, kind of yummy. It's funny, I'm smelling this wine. It's amazing how your palate and brain work. I'm yearning a big fat cheeseburger right now. I think burgers and wine is an incredibly well-known, but still, in my opinion, culturally underrated pairing. I really believe that the majority of you should drink wine with your burgers. I just think it's an incredible pairing. Nonetheless, black fruit, let's give it a whirl. Beautiful blueberry, wonderful little eucalyptus mint component on the mid palate. Gives me like a mid 80s, early 90s heights kind of component, which I think is super fascinating. Beautiful fruit. Silky, silky, silky smooth. Like, you know, if you go to like a super high-end hotel and the sheets are just right, like that is what I'm feeling here. Well integrated, beautiful fruit, and this is absolutely a crown jewel Cabernet. So many of you during this time of year are either looking for that special wine for that turkey kind of, you know, prime ham dinner that you're having at night, or more importantly, the father-in-law, or it's the first time you're meeting a future father-in-law and he's a big wine fan kind of wine. This is gonna save a lot of you 28 to 34-year-old males who are watching this right now. This is or you gotta give a gift to the boss, right? Who may look up on the internet how much the gift was, and seeing that $50 price tag is gonna make them feel all right that you actually care. So I think this is a highly strategic wine if you wanna put a ring on it, or if you wanna get a raise next year, or many other reasons, or most of all, like Nate back here in the peanut gallery, if you love golf and you got golfing buddies, you wanna, you know, you guys gonna play that, you know, he lives in Arizona, so it's not that cold, so, well, he used to live. So like maybe you're in a warm place right now, like Florida or Arizona, and you have a nice round with your buddies, and you wanna have a nice bottled wine in the country club environment. The Veluco, I think, will do this in spades. This is going to be universally adored. I think that the Collide might be too big for some. I think the Fairey Otto may be too light or too earthy and chalky for some. This is going to be a disproportionate crowd favorite. Fairey Otto, I think, is gonna really appease the subtle, smart palates that many of you have. And I think the Collide's a monster. I'm really curious to see, I might even put a footnote in the paper on the Collide. Now I don't want to take away from the intrigue. Nonetheless, the Collide is a super interesting wine. I got another little hack. If you're getting this, you can open the Collide at 9 a.m. like this, leave it on your counter, and drink it at 7 p.m. Let's say it's a Thursday, December 9th. I don't know if that's December 9th, but nonetheless, a Thursday here towards the end of the year, where you, like, I like Thursdays. I think they're an interesting time to have a good bottle of wine. You know, Fridays towards the end of the year, people are starting, you know, half the, it's that time of year. Nonetheless, Collide, let it breathe. Hope you enjoyed it. Would love your feedback, everybody. Would love a lot more feedback. A lot of you using the hashtag, you're putting in the picture and saying, cool wine club, I'm having fun, Gary V, what's up? Love that. A whole nother sector that I would love. I'd love a lot of you to put a picture of it half drank or empty or with a buddy, and like give me a feedback on like what you thought of the wine, where you went, and we'll keep cranking along. Got a really interesting deal I'm working on for January that I'm super fired up about. I'm like literally like, please put it to bed, hoping for that deal. And really just appreciate all of you being part of this club. Have a wonderfully healthy end of 2017, and can't wait to interact with a bunch of you in 2018. See ya.